I would like to introduce our featured presenter today, Tania McLaughlin, the insurance agent with American Family Insurance. So we ask our presenters to answer a few questions, and the questions that Tania picked this morning, her first question: what is your why behind what you do as a professional? Tania said, in life, everyone should be able to chase their dreams and enjoy the ride, rather than worrying about what might go wrong, or worse, be completely derailed when things go wrong. To realistically achieve that, you must either be an expert at planning and preparing for catastrophes or hire someone who is. After 13 years of experience within the same industry and the same company, Tania is proud to say that she is that expert. She rescues those that are lost in chaos. She gives control to those planning for their future and even care for their families after they're gone. The second question that Tania answered: share a little bit about your family. Tania is an only child of two parents who came from nothing and worked for everything they have. They are leaders and caregivers of their family on both sides. Her husband, Tom, is an only child, and so is their son, Dax. And the last question she answered: how do you feel with self-doubt in your business? Or how do you deal with self-doubt in your business? Knowing that she is in control, Tania can choose to be critical about herself or her business and do nothing to change it. Or she can choose to be critical and find a way to improve upon the flaws that she finds. Tania can doubt, or she can do. Tania, of course, chooses to do. Tania, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Tina. That was a stellar introduction. I appreciate it. So good morning, professionals you trust. This is Tania McLaughlin. I'm an insurance agent with American Family Insurance, but not just that, also the owner of McLaughlin and Associates Insurance Agency. What I do is not quite the norm that you see in the insurance industry. And so what I'd like to do is share with you why today, as well as talk a little bit more about myself than I normally would be inclined to, just because I know we have a few new members in the group as well. So starting with my introduction, my professional career honestly centers a lot around insurance. I got started when I was 19 years old, but from the beginning, I've always been a strategist with a vision. If I don't have a vision for the future and what I'm going after, I fizzle. So starting at 15, I had a full-time job. Did that all the way through finding insurance at age 19, never been without a job in the interim. Finding American Family Insurance, I started out entry level in sales, worked my way up, helped build a scratch agency for the agent that I met, was promoted to sales management after a couple years, helped run a district from Bothell to Bellingham, Washington, and eventually got my business degree along the way and became a owner in 2015. So I was one of the first agents in the country, in my company, to open multiple locations. That's what placed me in the top 3% in 2015 when I did that. Thank you. I now have a successful insurance business with a team of 5 licensed professionals. We recently expanded beyond our territory of Woodinville and Maple Valley to all of King County. We've also added licensing in Oregon, Idaho, Utah, Arizona, and a couple others to support our existing customers and what they're asking for. A few more accolades. District of the Year while I was at corporate, ended up being a mentor to my colleagues because I am the process person. That is one thing that you will learn about me being a strategist and being analytical, is I thrive in taking in information, finding out what the strengths are and where the struggles are, and dispatching resources to address the struggles and then making those strengths replicable. So along the way, I've also formed professional groups, Women on Top, Professionals You Trust. I've been a part of GSBA, the Greater Seattle Business Association, Young Professionals of Seattle, Greater Maple Valley Networking Association, and a big participant in DECA and Rotary. I'm going to go ahead and skip over the events. That's something we're really big into. But most recently, our accolades are 2-time Seattle Magazine 5-star professional in 2020 and 2021, and American Family Insurance as a company company who I've decided to partner with was voted Forbes Best Home Insurance in both 2021 and 2022, which is our lead product, and I'll explain why. Finally, our agency consistently earns All-American, AFLIC Gold Key, and American Star accolades, which basically just means we're continually well-rounded and take care of our customers. What we do differently. So we focus on what our customers need and we deliver it. And I know a lot of companies say that, but we truly create the space for that feedback. We don't dispatch things to our customers saying, this is the way it is. We need you to react with us this way or interact with us this way. We continually ask for feedback. We do that in our annual reviews. We do that with check-ins. Most recently, when the pandemic rolled out, we physically called every customer we have to see how they were, what they needed, and talk about the things that were changing outside of the normal 7 contacts a year that we do. On top of that, American Family Insurance is a very spectacular company. One thing I like about partnering with them is they're a huge organization with great resources and great products, but they allow me to be my own business owner. So I'm not an employee of American Family. I stand on my own 2 feet. I just happen to have an exclusive contract with American Family and their partner companies, which means when it really comes down to it, if something's going wrong with my customer, I will go to bat against American Family Insurance and any other insurance company to make sure that the customer has what they need. Thankfully, however, it hasn't had to be very often. I can name probably on both hands the times that we've needed to really, really do that. Also, I mentioned we have licensing outside of just Washington. Again, we've done that based on the feedback of our customers. Many have secondary or vacation or rental properties in those states of a higher percentage that it made sense to do that for our customers. I also have licensing for every single one of my team members, and I do that again for my customers because having appointment setters and receptionists and specialization is great, but in what we're doing and making sure that our customers don't get caught in that 1-800 number rep roulette, talking to a different person each time and getting unlicensed, possibly bad advice right when it matters. We don't have that with our team. I have access to products, the typical auto, home, business, life, basically anything outside of health insurance, but also flood, earthquake, and I mentioned through partner companies like the General, Ameriprise, Progressive, Liberty Mutual, Travelers, you name it, I probably have access to it. So that makes us a very nice one-stop shop for not just our personal accounts, but our commercial accounts as well. Finally, what sets us apart, we give advice, we provide advocacy, but I also empower my team with education and we celebrate every accomplishment. We go to bat for our customers together. So you'll see the pictures down here. You recognize me. There's Rhonda, who had 30 years in the building materials industry running a department. Nelson came from mortgage lending in Utah. Natalie came from customer service at Amazon alongside getting 2 college degrees. And Doreen just came over from managing a coffee stand. Very high caliber people that I choose to partner with. And like I said, we are armed and ready to take care of our customers. So it's not just me, it's us. And we're here for one reason: our customers. So my insurance tip for today that I'll leave you with is self-employment requires a change to your policy no matter what. And a lot of people think that it's a one-stop solution, that the only option is getting a commercial policy, which very well could be the solution. But many people don't know that number one, taking action puts you in a very, very difficult position. But number two, there are ways to bridge that gap without jumping over 100% into the commercial realm. Basically, there's a hard line between personal and commercial coverage. Business use is always excluded or highly, highly limited on a personal policy. That's just the way the black and white contract reads. And side note, if you don't have an agent that will dive into that contract language for you and translate it to you, please, please, please get one who does, because that contract is different for every single policy. So quick examples for auto, personal auto policies cover commuting, going to the grocery store, taking a vacation, but as soon as you use that for work, when you're self-employed, it's not covered. Going to visit a customer, that sort of thing. Recent claim example I had as a college student was just driving on behalf of her daycare, drove 1 or 2 kids home just for a couple weeks, and that's when the accident happened. No coverage, because she was driving on behalf of her employer and her employer didn't have the appropriate coverage. Also, wife borrowing a work vehicle. That's another one I kind of see a lot of, where there's a business provided vehicle that you have parked in the driveway. The wife just takes that one because the other one's out of gas to run to the grocery store. That's when something happens. Commercial policies are highly piecemeal. They do not come with all the bells and whistles and extensions that your personal policy does. So that was specifically excluded. Finally, for home, that covers your personal belongings, but it's usually limited to about $1,500. I just had a claim recently where a teriyaki restaurant, they have all the business coverage for their structure, everything their landlord needs to see to cover lawsuits, but not their own stuff, and not when it's stolen out of the vehicle with all of their inventory. So keeping an eye on those things that aren't necessarily required, but definitely necessary coverage to coverage. Umbrella. LLCs are set up to break the line of coverage in a good way, because if someone goes after you with a lawsuit and you have an LLC that protects your personal assets from many different angles, that can be a problem when it comes to insurance. Though you want to make sure that you still have that extra multi-million-dollar coverage over the top of what you have, and we can do that. Multiple LLCs across real estate investment portfolios in different states is something that we actually specialize in. And also the small scale stuff, which actually, when we're talking about umbrella, is always a catastrophe. Making sure that that employee's car accident that resulted in a fatality is something that doesn't cause your business to start over. Finally, quick stat, GoFundMe has over 496,000 active fundraisers for funeral costs as of today. So unfortunately, too many people go without life insurance for their spouse or their family, and even less have it in place for their business. So I'll leave you with a couple questions. If you were gone tomorrow, what would happen to your business? Would the business continue? Would it close on your terms? Would it still support others? The way to know for sure is either have a business succession life policy to pay your spouse, business partner, successor, or most essential employee to keep things going, or you can also cover if that essential employee were to suddenly pass, which causes a substantial business during the transition. So things to consider, reasons to have a licensed team to dispatch at your disposal. We like to insure carefully and dream fearlessly. And finally, this is how you can reach us, McLaughlin and Associates of American Family Insurance.